We often view the monuments of the past as simple wonders of architecture, but the world's most famous arena was built as a response to a horrific crime and a dictator's greed. In 64 AD, the Great Fire of Rome burned for 6 days, leveling entire neighborhoods. Emperor Nero used the devastation to seize massive tracts of land in the heart of the city, not to rebuild homes, but to construct a sprawling, gold-covered personal palace. The public was left in the ashes, while their leader lived in luxury. When Nero was finally forced from power and died, he left behind an empire gripped by civil war and on the brink of collapse. With the city in ruins and the people enraged, the next leader inherited an empire that was tearing itself apart. To stay in power, he would have to find a way to redirect that public anger toward a new, shared focus. That leader was Vespasian. A pragmatic soldier from a new family, he knew he needed to erase Nero's legacy to secure his own. He ordered the private lake at the center of Nero's palace to be drained. In a calculated public gesture, he announced that the land stolen by the previous emperor would be returned to the citizens of Rome. On that reclaimed ground, he began the construction of a massive amphitheater. It was designed to provide the city with a permanent home for the most extreme forms of public entertainment. The building was more than just a gift, it was a political tool. By providing a grand stage for state-sponsored violence, Vespasian could buy the loyalty of the mob and distract them from the corruption of the government. Construction began in 72 AD, funded by the spoils of war, and built by the forced labor of thousands of slaves and Jewish prisoners. They worked in levels, hauling massive blocks of stone to create a structure of unprecedented scale. The Romans utilized advanced concrete made from volcanic ash, allowing them to build higher and heavier than ever before. The finished arena could hold over 50,000 people, organized into tiers based on their social status. This exposed labyrinth of stone tunnels is the hypogeum. Located directly beneath where the sand once sat, this was the engine room of the amphitheater. For those trapped in the dark below, this was a system of cages and elevators. Workers used mechanical pulleys to raise gladiators and wild animals through trapdoors, making them appear instantly on the surface to surprise the crowd. This wasn't a passive stadium. It was a highly efficient, industrialized facility designed specifically to process and display death for the masses. Vespasian's son, Titus, oversaw the grand opening in the year 80. To mark the occasion, he launched a 100-day festival of continuous state-funded violence. Each day followed a rigid schedule. The mornings were dedicated to animal hunts, where exotic beasts brought from the edges of the empire were slaughtered by specialists in front of the cheering tiers. During the midday break, the arena was used for public executions. Criminals and enemies of the state were killed in various ways as a graphic reminder of the power of Roman law. The main event in the afternoon was the gladiator combat. These fighters were trained to use specific weapon sets, swords, nets, and tridents, to prolong the fight and maximize the drama for the spectators. A fallen gladiator's life rested on the emperor's signal. By following the crowd's roar, the state turned a death sentence into a public decision. While the sand below was soaked in blood, the Roman navy operated a massive cloth awning above, shielding the citizens from the sun. For the people of Rome, this level of violence was not an aberration. It was a perfectly organized, highly engineered, and entirely normal part of their social life. The games eventually came to an end in 404 AD. A Christian monk named Telemachus entered the arena to try and stop a gladiator fight. The crowd killed him, but the resulting outrage led to an official imperial ban on the games. As the empire collapsed, the Colosseum was abandoned. Over the centuries, earthquakes toppled its walls, and it was looted for its stone and iron to build the houses and churches of a new Rome. It only survived because of an 18th century pope who declared the ruins sacred, believing the site to be a place of Christian martyrdom. This religious protection halted the looting and saved the remaining structure. There is a deep irony in the fact that a building constructed for political distraction and pagan violence was ultimately preserved by the very religion it once persecuted. Today, the Colosseum is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, visited by millions. It stands as a silent, ghostly witness to a civilization that has long since vanished. It forces us to confront a difficult reality. The same people capable of this breathtaking architectural achievement were also capable of organized, industrial-scale cruelty. Standing before these stones, we are forced to ask what we are willing to accept in our own time in exchange for entertainment, and which victims we are taught to look away from. The Colosseum remains as physical evidence of the Roman state's priorities, an intersection of brilliant engineering and calculated, mass-produced violence.